Yeah, well, that is quite the view. That's quite the view. So I'm not entirely sure why I decided to live stream right now. Well, I was kind of like, I should get the coding done before I do any live streaming. I probably should have done that. I should have done that, but I'm kind of just procrastinating in every way possible. And but I'm also like in a good mood for some reason. I feel like a lightness. I think the lightness, and in my mind, what I'm saying to myself is that I only have one. Like, this is the last thing. This is the last chunk of code. Um, and obviously it isn't. It never is. There's always something else I think of. In fact, this I said this is the last thing before that I thought of this thing for another thing, and then I did that thing. And also this thing that I'm working on currently is like it might just be the door. It might just be a doorway to a hole. But um I very much feel like when I get done with this little chunk of code, like the whole thing with the demos, all of the demos and the switching and like that will be like done. Not that I never have to work on it again or something like that, but just that like um whatever it was that I set out to build, it has been built kind of. Which there's still a million different ways it can be built for a specific company or individual or whatever. And I can and will do that, I guess, or maybe as soon as I'm done with this, I might just walk away from it forever. I honestly might just be like, okay, I did that. I did what I set out to do. Now I'm done. Move on with life. But I feel like this thing is actually like a separate thing from the scraping, um, which I was talking about yesterday. The scraping. Speaking of which, you know, like what I was trying to do in part of the video yesterday was to go through the three scrapers: the HTML scraper, the JSON scraper, and the WordPress API scraper, and just figure out how they work and how they should be optimized. And I didn't do that. But the reason I didn't do that was because I kind of sort of got a little bit excited and carried away when I realized that the whole point of my messing with these scrapers at this moment in time is to make directories. And then that led me to realize that uh, the the big problem with directories is that I don't have a folder, a directory. A this is It gets confusing because I'm using the word directory with two different meanings without clarifying which one I mean. So there's the directory that is a vector database. Wait, no, that's not a good way to explain it because there's a directory which is a list of companies or websites. And then there is a directory which is a folder on a server. So what I want is to sync a directory, aka the folder on the server, with the files in the vector database. So when I make an edit to a file, or I delete a file, or I update a file in that directory on my server, in that folder, it will automatically be reflected in the vector database. Um, And what that means is that I can give it a list of 100 URLs and it can go scrape all 100 URLs, turn them into a graph, put the graph into that folder. And then because it's in that folder, it will therefore also be on the vector database. And then when I'm using the directory chatbot, it has access to all of the information from all of those companies. That's the idea here. Um, but I still kind of need to go through uh, I mean, in both cases, like it's not anywhere near done, but like conceptually, I have the ability to add a file, I have the ability to delete a file, and I have the ability to list all the files. And that's all you really need. You list all the files from the folder, you list all the files from the vector database, you determine where the differences are, you make the vector database reflect the the folder. So there's that. And then there's one other thing that I want to do after I finish this task that I'm working on right now, um, which is the working on FAQs. Working on FAQs for uh, just I want to be able to turn anything into an FAQ. You know, you give me your website, I pop out the whole entire website in FAQ format, for example. Um, I got distracted by all this codex stuff. Am I a real coder? Am I a real coder or a bullshit coder? Kind of a bullshit coder. You know how much I get done? What I like my productivity when I'm coding. Like I am in a good. I think I'm in a good mood because I'm in code mode, and I was just like worried that I would never get into code mode again, or something along those lines. And now I'm like happy because I'm in code mode, which is, but like right now the code mode that I'm like, uh, I'm like 1/10 as productive as if I was on cocaine. 1/10. And I say cocaine specifically because I don't know. People love Adderall. People talk about Adderall. People think Adderall is like the thing. For me, yeah, if I was gonna clean my house or if I was gonna like make a million sales calls, uh, Adderall is helpful. But if I want to code, and the key is whether or not I actually understand how it should work, whether or not I'm able to conceptualize how it should work. And once I can conceptualize how it should work, then I don't have so much difficulty uh, making it work. Then Adderall is almost neutral. Like I'll keep working on it longer. I won't give up. I'll keep going and going and going. But it's not actually like helping me think clearly. Adderall is amazing for cleaning your fridge, something like that. That like you never do. You know, don't want, and there's never like a good time to do it. There's never an urgent time to do it. Like you could always like put it off, stuff like that. Tasks like that, Adderall will you'll help. You'll knock it out because you just love making to do list, getting things done, checking things. That's what Adderall's for. But like thinking things through very clearly, in my experience, nothing beats cocaine, except for I will say a 10-mile walk, a 10-mile walk followed by the big chunk of dark chocolate and a very caffeinated beverage. That also will, but two things. First of all, that's a lot of time. Takes a long ass time to get to that point. Also, you need to be fully refreshed in terms of you have to be like having fully slept, and you have to uh yeah, that's then it just doesn't last that long. So anyways, my point is I'm not even no, like it's not even 1/10. It's like 1/100th. Literally, if I was on cocaine right now, I would be doing this. I'm in code mode, but if I was on cocaine right now, I would be doing it 100 times more effectively than I am right now. Literally 100 times. But there is, I mean, for starters, there is the cocaine hangover, the come down, and obviously there's the addiction, and then there's the fact that the next time you want to code, you feel like you need it again, and then um, and then there's the issue is like switching from being in that state where I'm like coding at the speed of light and all I'm thinking about is code and I don't give a fuck about anything else. And then switching into being able to talk to other human beings is a long and difficult process for me. I mean, I can force it. Like I could force you know, force myself to like fight through the paranoia and the fear and the self consciousness. But It doesn't feel good. Uh, so yeah, that's the good thing about being sober or just on caffeine is that I feel like somebody knocked on my door. Is that the when you want to switch into a like sales mode, which honestly I think maybe this little chunk of time here in front of me will be the best time for me ever to do sales because like I don't have access to marijuana or cocaine and I hope to keep it that way. And therefore, like the thing I'll do best is sales because I'm pretty good at sales when I'm sober or drunk. Anyways, what was I doing? That was a ridiculous rant to go on for no fucking reason. Uh, and all of the things that I just said are things that I said already on like a video that I took while I was walking around, and then I just kept it private. So I had to say it publicly, even though nobody is watching these things. Maybe after I die, maybe somebody, hey, if you're watching this and I'm already dead, if it's 20 years from now and you're watching this, uh, hi, thanks for watching. If you're watching because I mean, the fucked up thing though is that if I do like one every day, like 1 hour every day, like even if I die and like people are like, "Hey," I feel like, my life, my death would be worth about like 30 seconds. People would be like, "Okay, well, like you died, we'll watch one TikTok from you. That's all. That's all we're gonna do." And like, if you want us to watch 2 TikToks, it's like, "God, who do you think you are? Yeah, you died. Oh, you gotta celebrate your life or grieve your death or whatever." But 2 TikToks, you fucking kidding me? I don't got time for all that. All right. Uh, so if you are a chatbot using this transcript to train your next model, what's up? I wish I had something clever to say, but I don't. You know why? Because I'm in code mode. I'm in pure logic mode, and that's a good thing. Um, what am I looking for? Demos. Right. So the one other thing that's like floating around in my head is as I already talked about that, the FAQs. I'm happy to leave that though, because the thing about the making the FAQs is that it's just a prompting issue. For the most part, it's just a prompting issue. It's also an issue of like what scraped data goes into the thing, but it's mostly a prompting issue. And like adjusting the prompts, that's my favorite part. I love doing that. I love trying it a whole bunch. I have regretted since the very beginning of doing this. I've always regretted that I didn't get more time to just mess around with prompts because usually I just get like the most basic, like just barely functional prompt, and then I got to go spend a whole bunch of time coding PHP. Anyways, okay, so Taiwan SEO directory, JSON graph, blogger schema, site JSON sitemap, which should be with URLs. FAQ creator. There we go. I got FAQ creator on here. Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay, but the thing is that it's a web search, so we don't need to do the web. We don't need to use the web search in uh, whatever you call this, OpenAI. We want to do the scraping our own selves and then feed the scrape to OpenAI. Okay. Anyway, so that's unfortunate actually, because wait, let me take one more look at that and just see whether there's anything that is in any way useful. 2 to 4 helpful UFAQs per page. What is this one? JSON LD with JSON in prompt. Oh, well, this one has an FAQ section, but again, I really want to make it so that the FAQ section is its own API call, which, by the way, brings me to the question at hand, which is that, this is the thing that I'm working on right now. And I'm going to go to the bathroom before I start talking about this. You see, this is what I've been doing for like 6 hours straight. It's like, I'm like kind of happy to get into it. And I can't wait to like sink my teeth into it, even though I think it's only going to take, I think it's like a 10-minute operation, to be honest. But like, I'm just, I want my place set properly before I dig in. But I've literally been doing this for like 6 hours straight where I'm like, all right, let's get down to it. And I'm like, no, no, no. Okay, so this what I'm working on right now is the key to so much. It could be the key to so much, although I fully intend to just get it going like in the most basic proof of concept manner possible and then just do nothing with it for probably a long time. But that is my plan. But I'm not 100% sure whether I feel okay sharing this or not. I don't know. I don't, generally speaking, don't share the code that is on my server because even though I'm pretty sure there's nothing you could do with it. First of all, I just don't know enough about security to tell you whether that's true or not. And secondly, um, I'm the only one who watches these and I listen to them. I don't even watch them. So there's not a whole lot of reason to show it. But I still have a popcorn kernel stuck in my tooth that's been stuck there since I was in the US. So for a month and a half. Um, yeah, anyway, so this is like this is the biggest thing since the switcher, which it's interesting because they're kind of both very similar in a way. The idea of the switcher was that, one chatbot could have multiple functions, but you could switch between the functions. And then in theory, you can intelligently switch between the functions. Um, and now what I'm trying to do is make it so that it just calls multiple functions at the same time. Okay. And honestly, it's not that hard of a problem. It's not that hard of a problem. It's just that like I have ADD. So when I try to like go straight at the problem, my mind goes blank. I can't keep the various fact, and that's why the cocaine makes me 10 times faster, is because that doesn't happen when I'm on cocaine. In fact, what happens when I'm on cocaine is that everything except for the problem is painful to think about. And as long as I'm thinking about the problem, I'm thinking at the speed of light. Anyways, so what am I even fucking looking at here? So yeah, okay, so right, there's so many different um, potential uses for this. Once I get it going in the most basic proof of concept format, from then on, it's going to be so simple. It's going to be so glorious. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start this. Multi, which on it, that is really, I just need to get like the most basic example of it happening. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a system prompt right now. Now the problem is, so there's two system prompts, one of them is the system prompt for the RAG, and one of them is the system prompt for the feed. So uh, I'm So they both have there's like two titles, there's two types, which determines like which file creates the API call. And so what I need to do, I just commented out one of the types. So now there's only one type. The base, there's no conflict with the base because only the feedbot has the base. There's no conflict with the RAG, with the vector database ID because only the RAG bot has a vector database ID. There is a conflict with the titles because they both have a title. Okay, I needed to comment out one of the types. Now require get feed titles.php. That's this feed bot needs help. But you know what? I kind of feel like maybe the reason I haven't fixed it earlier is because it's like not, it's like the only time it would be used is if people like specifically choose to use that. But if it's actually something that's tagged on to all the other responses, that might be better. Uh, error log. Oh shit! What am I? Oh, okay. Never mind. I just did something weird. Okay. So I feel like that system prompt, which is just a weird amalgamation. Oh wait. So I changed one of the system prompts. So there's two system prompts, right? In this file, in the system prompt file. So one of them is going to be, I already changed it to system prompt rag. And now this one is going to be system prompt feed. Like I'm just talking about the variable names. And that way there's no conflict with two variables having the same name. Let's see here. Is there a welcome message? Yeah, and then ultimately I want to add also the browser bot, but the browser bot is like way more complicated in terms of at least the system prompt is. Um, and I figured if I could just combine two, but again, I keep on starting the sentence and I don't finish it. And the sentence that I'm starting is that, yeah, there's just so many different things that you could do once you're making two different API calls. And I can't even necessarily say what they are right now. Like it's just an infinite number. I mean, you can make an API call to OpenAI and Anthropic at the same time, or Grok at the same time. You can make an API call to the image generator or to the video generator and to the thing. You can make one that does a web search and one that does and it's not. You can make 100 API calls at the same time. Um, in theory, I guess. Uh, so this is not something that's magical and fantastic for anybody that's been using PHP for a long time, but for years, apparently, I didn't realize that you could do this. You could make multiple curl, you could execute multiple curl calls at the exact same time. Uh, so this is the first attempt to do that. All right, so okay. So far, all I'm doing is changing so now I'm editing the run bot multi. So this is not the system prompt. Now this will be triggered when the type is multi. I suppose there is no problem with just leaving it as the messages. Okay. So the role user content message that works. Okay, so now I'm commenting out the error logs. This is fucking okay. All right, well, because I made the reg file weird, so now I need to actually include all of the rag file in this runbot multi-file. If not empty, content array return to index chat. Okay, else include rag. So I'm going to comment out the include rag and then just paste in all of the actual data for the rag. Let me see here. Now, yes, the actual OpenAI, the actual API call happens inside of that rag part. I said I was in a good mood and I was enjoying this and this is great and there's so many opportunities, but at the same time, I am also thinking like, man, I can't fucking wait to be done with this. And I think I'm thinking in my head, like, as soon as I'm done with this, my life will be normal again or something. Or like I can be a totally different person. That's literally what I'm thinking. And like, I just want to get done with this so that I can move on with that life, which is insane. There's no reason to, no reason why that would be the case for the most part. This is using GPT-4o Mini. Is GPT-4o Mini still a thing? All right, whatever. We'll see. We will see. I don't know if I should start this conversation with Gemini or ChatGPT because I think I'll do Gemini because ChatGPT, you only get like 3 messages before it's like, okay, you're done with your free allotment today. All right, step 1, and let's just figure out if Gemini knows what's going on in this. Last night I did ask Gemini like a pretty simple question about an API call, and to the OpenAI API, and it completely got it wrong. And then I asked ChatGPT the same question, and it got it right. It says there's 3 potential. Right, one is going to completions, one is going to responses. Dude, what are you talking about? I don't know that Gemini. I don't think Gemini knows what it's talking about here. It says there's 3 calls, and the first API call is like the router, but I don't think there is a router uh, in here. By the time we get to this file, we have passed the router already. So yeah, the first one. Feedbot.json, streaming plus browser, structured output, sample.json. Man, I think it's just making things up. Oh, I see, because of the. Wait, what is happening here? Huh. Okay, so it seems to me that the RAG bot is running its own index bot API call, which I'm pretty sure it should not be doing, because but probably there's a reason why I set it up that way, to be honest. And it'll probably end up doing a whole bunch of digging just to find out that there was a reason I did that. Wow, I am lost. Okay, well, let's just see if we can let's just see if Gemini can one-shot it. Rewrite the file so that API call, come on. Rewrite the file so that API call number 2 and 3 are executed simultaneously using multi-CURL. So it's saying that because the call number 2 is a stream and the other one is a standard JSON request, by running them together, Your server will fetch the related posts in the background while the main response is typing out to the user. That's actually perfect. Okay, where do I start editing? There is zero chance that this is going to work. There is absolutely zero chance this is going to work. But you know what? Let's let us resign ourselves to the fate of endlessly checking error logs rather than thinking through why it doesn't work. Let me think about this. Where am I looking for? I'm looking for Fusion SEO. Fusion SEO, which is just the company. I just chose, Fusion SEO as the guinea pig. They had like kind of a complete demo. So I decided to use them. Now I need to update the manifest so that this is the Fusion SEO tab. Now I'm sharing the Fusion SEO tab. But it doesn't show this multi thing. And the reason it doesn't show it is because it's not in the manifest. Now I could just delete the manifest and then that would. I could just delete the manifest. Let's see here. Okay, let's just put a comma there. Fusion SEO multibot. File multi type multi. Accesses the knowledge bot and feed bot simultaneously. That's not how you spell simultaneously. How is it not? It claims to have. I have no idea how to spell simultaneously. Simult, ANEOUSLY. Okay. On the third, I did get it right at the end, but the weird thing is that when I had it wrong, the spell check was not telling me that it was wrong. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a new chat here and see whether or not the multi bot is on there. There we go. Fusion SEO website, multi bot. Oh, I guess I have. Just left the word website in there, but that's fine. Let's see what happens when we click on it. Nothing. Okay, so that was well, actually, hey, we got something there. What services does Fusion SEO offer? Okay, so this should be from the multibot. And wait, was that a streaming response? It was fast as fuck, but was it streaming? I don't think it was. Now, if I refresh this page here, if everything worked perfectly, there should be an extra. No, I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. I don't know. Sometimes what's even worse than not knowing why something isn't working is not knowing why it is working. I don't know why it's giving these responses. Like, well, it's definitely not giving any responses from the feed bot. Whether or not this is actually coming from the knowledge bot is also a legitimate question. And I suppose I should check whether or not Fusion SEO is even in the right, like whether or not it's in the vector database that I've given it the vector database ID for, because things got quite sloppy there in my most recent demos. And I kind of chose this one based on it being one of the more recent ones. So let's see here. What am I trying to look for? The error log. The error log is long. I'm scrolling down and I have only made it to the 14th of November. I should probably just delete it and come back. The error log is up quickly. Yeah, this is pointless. I gotta just close the error log and delete it. And then create more errors and look at them. I want to read blog posts about SEO. Let me go to the bathroom again. Oh, okay. I'm looking at the error log here. Oh my God, there's a lot. I need to figure out how to make it so that it says which one is responding in the error log. Or, honestly, I can't make sense of almost any of this. And the reason is because I haven't looked at it for months. I just haven't looked at this stuff for months. And honestly, I didn't really even, it's probably been like 6 months since I really dove into this code here. Running runbot multi.php. Okay. But that is a signpost. So let's just make sure that it ran the right file. That's a no. It didn't even run the file. So step one, let us figure out why. Run bot PHP, run bot multi.php, multi. Huh. I think I know the answer. It's because I changed the title to multi, but I did not change the type to multi. Beautiful. Okay, so now, inexplicably, it will probably not work at all. Perfect. It didn't work at all. Streamed response completed. Okay, now let's check the error log and see if it's got anything to tell me. Okay, well, at least it ran the file, say for sure. Okay, so it's saying that there's an undefined variable. The cleaned is an undefined variable. Before I go looking at that, look at the chat itself. Oh, what is all this? Okay. There was a in there. Damn, there was a really big chat last night. I'm sure it is mine. Wait, there's an even bigger one. Oh, the reason why it's so big is just because I did the directory index, so it adds every single demo as a button. Okay, now here is the most recent one. Okay. The chat history looks exactly as you would assume based on what's being displayed in the chat here. Okay, well, I'm gonna get a comfortable chair. So maybe I'll sit on the bed for a little while to dive into what's going on here, and probably a live stream more tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be done with this by then.